What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this new project from Pete Sayke called Gold and Rue. Now, Pete Sayke is a rapper who's coming out of Chicago, and last year I did review his album Heaven Can Wait, which made my indie year-end list. Really dope album, so you don't want to sleep on it. And this is dope too, so if you want to check out Pete's music and connect with him, just take a look at the information box down below where I have all that information for you. But before we get heavy into the content and lyrics on this project, I gotta shout out the producers for coming through with a very cohesive sound. This is a very traditional hip-hop project with lots of thick drums, sample work, horns, light keys, just a very jazzy affair overall. So if that's the type of sound that you like, this is a project you do not want to skip out on. You're not getting that new school sound with lots of synthy stuff, 808s, and big bangers. That's not the type of project this is. So just keep that in mind before you check it out, man. I think he did a really good job here of piecing everything together because even the way that he raps fits this production nicely, and there's plenty of great content to get into, man. He's a really good rapper, like the flows and like the schemes, and I appreciate the concept of this because as the title suggests, it is a play on the golden rule, which means do unto others as others would do unto you. In this instance, the gold represents the more positive side of things, maybe your aspirations, dreams, and goals, while the rue represents the more negative side of things. So you could look at maybe the sacrifices you had to make, or maybe some of the mistakes you've made in your life as well. So there's this idea of karma and balance, maybe a little bit of that yin-yang shit going on as well, if you want to say that. And he does a great job of bringing all these elements into his storytelling, including on the song Silverton Park. This one has some very beautiful keys on it, as well as some nice vocals from Felix. And here he's telling the story of what it was like for him growing up in Silverton Park, a place where people could go down many different paths, sometimes negative and sometimes positive. As he spits, young and black, we was mall rats in our backwards ball caps, maybe half us thought rap, other half us saw crack. Obviously, this is a notion that ties into many neighborhoods where sometimes people feel like that's the only way for them to make it out. They either have to do sports and entertainment or get heavy into the streets. So he's coming through with some vivid imagery here, and that second verse in particular is pretty cool because he tells the story of this guy named Chris who did get caught up in the streets and drugs rather than chasing his basketball dreams. So I like everything he was doing on that song, and there's a lot of other good stuff on here too, including on the title track, which is actually the outro. On this one, he's dealing with a wide variety of topics, from the shitty world leaders out there to the fact that schools are not getting good funding, so the education is dwindling. And he also speaks a little bit on the infamous story of Carl Lewis, a runner from back in the day. You can read that shit up. The whole thing was kind of sketchy. Then on the song Rollin, he's exploring the ideas of vices and addiction, and the overall concept of how in one way or another we are all chasing after something, whether it's good or it's bad. In this case, vices and addiction obviously can really send you down the wrong path because he spits, "Got fam that sips so much vino, I pray they don't wind up dead." Some clever wordplay there with vino, wine, wind up dead, addiction, that's what it can do to people. I thought that was a very clever line. So I like all the ideas on here. I feel like I said that a couple times now, but I'm just stressing that because that's the type of project it is, man. He's not bullshitting with his bars, he's not wasting any line, he's giving you some things to think about. Even on the song Heirs, for example, he opens up by speaking on Jordan's infamous line about how Republicans always buy shoes, and the whole idea I took from this track is how important it is not only for people to give back financially, but also to go into the community and do things. Maybe be a little bit more political in your actions and your speech when you're in such a high platform, because you have black youth looking up to various rappers and athletes, and it can have a profound effect when everybody's coming together to be positive, to speak on injustices, and really just uplift the community. So all these things I really appreciate from Pete Sayke. I think it's great that he's touching on these things. I can relate to some of what he's saying. Really a solid project lyrically. And on top of all that, man, we gotta show love to all the features on here. You got Roy Kinsey on Look at We. This track deals with the persistence of black people and also puts forth the notion how some of that struggle and pain can actually result in the greatest art. And female hip-hop duo Mother Nature really shine on the song called The Rules. This is one of the hazier cuts on the project with some really laid-back vocals on the hook, so I like the sound of it. And I just think all the bars on this were great, man. Everybody rapping on this sound very focused, no amateur bullshit, everybody everybody was spitting. And I like what Pete was saying on here about the hypocrisy and selfishness of these people who rally against homosexuality and abortion until it collides in their world. We see it all the time with politicians, more so in the States. I'm up here in Canada, so I'm just speaking on some of the stuff that I see, where you have these people who are really just against everything, but then sometimes they roll it back a bit. If, for example, one of their children happens to be gay, or maybe they need their mistress to have an abortion. So there's all kinds of fuckery going on with that. More great stuff that he's rapping about. Also, Just Soul on Dow Jones and Climbing delivers some really beautiful vocals. The first song I mentioned, Dow Jones, has some great saxophone all over it. And then on Climbing, we're getting a cool concept where Pete is basically, wondering how things are going to go for him once he dies, how he's going to be judged as he looks back at his life and those sorts of things. So there's no shortage of bars, concepts, and content on this one, and that's a big reason why I'm going to go with a 4 out of 5 here. The only reason I'm not going to go higher with a 4.5 is because I usually save that score and 5 for projects that really push boundaries a little bit more, maybe with a unique sound with the production, maybe the way they're rapping is a little more out there and exciting, you might say, but even still, a 4 obviously isn't a bad thing, and this is a great project, man. I'd say I like it about as much as Heaven Can Wait, although they're two very different projects. Heaven Can Wait, I think, shows a bit more versatility, while this one is more cohesive and message-driven. Either way, man, both of these albums are great, and Pete is putting together a pretty nice discography here. So, as for my least favorite, Mount Mutumbo, not even really that bad of a track. I like the blaxploitation style production and the themes of just embracing your true self, but it was my least favorite overall. It did feel a bit different from the other songs. It didn't tie in as nicely as some of the other ones in my opinion, but you're still getting those good bars. And that does work for this project, so it is what it is. Something got to be my least favorite, and that was that. So check this one out for yourself, check out some of his other work, and let me know how you feel in the comments section. And of course, make sure you do all that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love and you show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.